This is Dabu 7. We have a state of emergency being issued in Denver and also in Texas out of El Paso, as well as the mayor of NYC freaking out over these illegal migrants coming into the country. All of a sudden, there's these larger waves that are rolling into the city, and apparently a lot of these cities are at their busting point. They can't handle anymore. A lot of the mayors in these areas were Democratic mayors that did not want to do certain things until, well, now it's too late. The place is overran, thousands of migrants coming in across the border daily, and then flooding in to these other cities every week. So NYC flipping out, Denver flipping out, launching a state of emergency, and the mayor of El Paso seeing the biggest influx because they're coming in right there in his region. So what they've done is Texas has placed the military on standby in preparation for a larger surge of migrants. So this is a big move. They say in preparation for the expiration of Title 42 next week, the Texas Military Department announced that it will be mobilizing members of its National Guard services to combat all these people coming across the border. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes down from here, but they're flooding in large numbers, and if they know that the door is going to be kind of closing, so to speak, then more and more are going to be trying to rush in. At this point, DHS said they're going to go down here and finish the wall in many different areas. A lot of people laughed at that. Again, the people flooding into this country, they have been for months on end. Trying to send the military down there now is better late than never, but it's late for sure. A lot of these people are going to end up in cities near you, and this is all by design. You have to start to ask, why? Oh, join me for the live streams Monday and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, where I talk about this and a whole lot more censorship-free. Dabu777. Hit that subscribe button for more. Much love.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I start, I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Yahweh Kakodash, Yahweh, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one true name is Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, because those are the men who I've learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect, and shalom to you, sincere brothers scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. I am the brother Mashiach Arazakah from the servants of Yahweh Yahweh Shai Camp, Las Vegas, Nevada branch, and pretty much in the lesson you see Salakia, but there's a lot of pretty much you have a lot of I forgot what you call those people. You got a lot of foreigners and immigrants coming in basically into the borders, crossing the borders in El Paso, in Texas, and in Denver. So now they got the National Guards out, and they're declaring a state of emergency. All right. So pretty much just imagine when they permanently have state of emergency on all 50 states and you ain't able to leave a city. That's martial law. All right. And a lot of people, they fail to look at that and understand that, martial law is even brought up and mentioned in the scriptures. All right. Yeah. Martial law is brought up and mentioned in the scriptures. Now let's prove that. Let's get out. We'll prove that real quick. Let's prove it. When you go to 2nd Esdras, and we start at verse 15, and I start at verse 11. This is Second Esdras 15 and 11. It says, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before." What is a plague? A plague, and I'm gonna get that out right now, because took a picture of that, because that's going into the martial law thing. But let's get out plague. All right. See if I'm spelling it right.
Plague.
A contagious bacterial disease created by fever or delirium, typically with the formation of babus, right? And sometimes infection of the lungs. So a plague is a bacterial virus disease. All right. And that's what the Lord has been. Look at what all these diseases that have been coming out with. All these plagues that's coming on the earth. All right. All these diseases that's been spreading on the earth. It says verse 11, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt," which is America, "with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." Right? Because this isn't talking about ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt fell already. This is talking about this place called America. Verse 12, "Egypt, which is America, shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague," right? "In punishment that Yahweh Bashimashai shall bring upon it." So the Lord is in control of all things. Everything is being established of Yahweh Bashimashai. And the Lord is putting plagues on this place called America. All right. The punishments is of the Lord, Yahweh Bashimashai. The Lord is intensifying his judgment. Verse 14, "Woe unto the world and them that dwell therein." And that word woe means warning or destruction. Verse 15, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands." And that is what is getting ready to take place. Civil and unrest. Because everybody's not going to comply to the system. Because Esau, he's going to come in with his NWO. And that's what's going to be made mandatory. And everybody's not going to comply to that system. So people are going to take matters into their own hands. And they're going to go up against them. All right. Verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition," right, "among men, invading one another." That word sedition means to revolt or rebel against authority. They're not gonna fall. They're not gonna fall for the mandate of Babylon's NWO. All right. They're not gonna fall for that. A lot of people know what that MOTB is. Everybody's not going to get that. So that's going to go into sedition, right? Revolting against authority, rebelling against it, uproars. Verse 16, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes." Because Esau, he's not going to have control over the people anymore. You starting to see more uproars take place on the earth. More than anything, there's been so many protests, they can't even control the people. They can't even control who's coming across the borders. Now they're bringing in the military because the police can't stop that. They can't stop all those immigrants coming over the borders. They call them immigrants, which we know that this is originally their land, you know. But, you know, Esau is going to do what he do to call it cruelty to say, oh, they're immigrants, which they've been here before Esau even came here, you know. Verse 16, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Verse 17, it says, "A man shall desire to go into the city." See, and this is the time that we're coming into. This is what you see right here. This is exactly what you see right here. You got immigrants trying to go into the city, right? But this that's being said right here is going to be all over the world, all 50 states. You're not going to be able to go into the city. It says, "A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able," because the police 911 is going to go out of business. When that MOTB is established and that's a new currency, and everybody is mandated to have that, or they ain't going to be able to work, or they ain't going to be able to do anything. If you because everything is going to be mandated on that MOTB. All right. And you're going to have that to be able to do anything. All right. It says, for because of their pride and their, it says because of their pride the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, because you're going to be seeing people like this in your city. And this is going to be, you can't go up against a group like this. Look at this. You know, all you jakes out there talking about y'all ready to kill anybody. Y'all ready to bust a trigger. You're ready to bust a burner. Look at this. And this is just a few men. Just imagine you seeing 1,500 men, 1,500 men, all right? 1,500 men, 1,800 men, all walking in the middle down the street of your fucking neighborhood with a truck like that, as you can see, like that. And that shit is already an automatic weapon right there. That shoot, you ain't with your little Glock, you ain't gonna be able to go up against these guys. This is why in a time we're gonna need to call upon Yahweh Shemashai. But you're gonna have these carnal ass niggas try to go up against these guys. Yeah, you got a bulletproof vest, but these niggas, they can look at these. You ain't gonna be able to go against all these guys. Look at this. You know? So this is why you want to fear the Lord. This is why you want to seek the Lord. Because these are the times that we're coming into. All right. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. And this is going into your day one homeboys or somebody who you really trusted. They're going to betray you in that time. Because in that time, when the MOTB is made mandatory, let's say a Jake may have had food, all right, and or may have had food stocked up or whatever that is, and he helps his best friend, and that his best friend got a woman, because women, they don't be content with what they have. Let's say your best friend day one gave you a 3 week supply of food. Instead of your Eve being content with 3 weeks supply of food, she's going to be complaining in that man's ear. Your friend got more food. We need to take all his food because this is just 3 weeks. What are we going to do with 3? Because you always got a woman doing that. Always doing this. Ain't a woman bashing video, but women, when they're under pressure, they crack. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? This is only for 3 weeks. How are we going to survive on food for 3 weeks? Just constantly nagging. And knowing that Jake, he gonna be like, man, and because the woman, man, she cracks under pressure. She does her manipulation shit. That Jake, his friend that he knew for years, he gonna go over there and he gonna rob his own friend, take everything of what he got. Because in that time it's gonna be about survival. People got kids. That's what it's gonna be about. Their survival. It's gonna be about them. Every man for themselves. So you ain't even gonna be able to trust anybody in that time. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And this is exactly what is going to take place. Because right now, this is going on in 3 different states: Denver, El Paso, and Texas. All right. And I think El Paso is in Texas too, Salakia. But this is happening in 2 different states. All right. This is happening in 2 different states. All right. And then you have the power outage that took place out in North Carolina. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was North Carolina. But this is what's going on. You got a state of emergency. They sending out the National Guards to block all the so-called immigrants from coming in the city. So just imagine when martial law fully is in effect in all 50 states, and you're not able to go out of the city like you are freely. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. You're going to be quarantined. You're going to be in your fucking house. You're going to be quarantined, or they're going to take you to those concentration camps. So this is the times that we're coming into, man. So this is why at the end of the day, you want to fear the Lord. You really want to fear the Lord, and you want to ask the Lord to protect you, man. Keep us all protected in that day. This is Revelations 15 and Revelations 13, Salakia. And I start at verse 15. This is Revelations 13:15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And who's the he? The he is talking about Esau, Edom, the central bankers, the NATO. All right, which NATO stands for nation. Was it nation? I think it's nation something treaty organization. Nation. I think it's nation authorization treaty organization. I might be going off on the A, but that's what NATO stands for. The EU. All right. The NATO is the EU. That's the he. If I said it right, I think it's called Nation Authorization Treaty Organization. If I'm not mistaken, elders brothers can correct me on that. Salakia. But I believe that's what NATO stands for. All right. So it says in verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And then he is talking about the EU, NATO, the central bankers. All right. And that image is talking about what? The NWO, his new world order, his new system. Because Esau has to bring in a new system. That the image of the beast, the NWO, right? Image of the beast shall both speak and cause as many as will not worship the image of the beast, which is that new world order, right, shall be killed, because they're gonna have it that that damn MOTB is going to be made mandatory. Now they're not going to force you to take it. It's going to be your option or your opinion, your decision, Salakia, to take it or not. It's going to be up to you. They're going to leave it up to you to take it or not. And if you take it, you're going to be destroyed. If you are a so-called Negro or Spank Native American and you comply to the system and you take it, you're going to be destroyed. There's no repentance for taking that MOTB. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, right? Actually, I skipped it. Salakia. Verse 16, and he calls it all. There's the he again. Verse 16, right? And the he is talking about what? The NATO, the EU, the central bankers, right? And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, right, in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, you go into me that word mark, it goes into G5480, right? And actually, I'll just get it right here because I want to get it out. So you go into Revelations 13 and go down to verse 16, and go into the interliner, right? And you go into the meaning of that word mark.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
A stamp or imprinted mark. So this is something physical, not spiritual. Now there is a spiritual mark which goes to Ezekiel the 9th chapter, but Revelations, right, 13 verse 15 to 17 is not talking about a spiritual mark. It's talking about a physical. Because when you go into the etymology of charagma, is G5482, which is karax, a pell, stake, or palisade. Now that palisade is talking about the needle that they're going to use to implement that beam inside your body. So if you take that, you're going to be destroyed. And when you go into the etymology of karax, it's G1125, which is grapho, right? It says to delineate or form letters on a tablet or parchment paper or material or other material. So that's talking about a device, an actual device, all right, electronic device, right? And everything that you have in your wallet is going to be put on that device, all right? So this is talking about a physical thing. This is something physical, all right? This is something physical. This is something physical. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, because you're not going to be able to buy or sell. If you without that MOTB, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. It says, save he that had the MARK, which is the mark, right? Or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So if you take that MOTB, you're going to be destroyed. There's no repentance for taking that, and they're not going to force you. Revelations 14 and 9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. So notice it said hand there. Doesn't matter if you get your right hand or your left hand. You take that MOTB, you're going to be destroyed. Verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of wrath of the Lord. You're going to feel the righteous anger of the Lord, which is poured without mixture into the cup of his indignation. That word indignation, it goes into the meaning of the word wrath. You're going to feel the righteous anger of the Lord. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And that Lamb is talking about Yahweh Shai. All right, because Yahweh Shai is going to come back. He's going to return. All right, he's going to return with the angels, and they're going to tear stuff up too here. All right, so if you take the MOTB, you're going to be destroyed. All right, you take that MOTB, you're going to be destroyed. Revelation 16 and 2. And the first went and poured out his veil upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast. Because you're gonna have those that took the MOTB, they're gonna be destroyed. That's that noisome and grievous sore. They're gonna be destroyed, right? And upon them which worship his image, those that complied to the system and took that MOTB, they're gonna be destroyed. All right. So this is just a prime example showing you on just an example. Martial law is gonna be like this. And you ain't gonna be able to escape it. All right. The only way we got to go through all of this to be delivered. The only person that's going to be able to deliver us is Yahweh Shai. Like the elders say, a lot of us are going to be put to death for the Lord's sake. And that's in Revelations 20:4. So again, this is why you want to seek the Lord. Because this state of emergency, this is just the beginning, You got power outages, right? You got all this stuff going on. So, hey, Lord wants us to edifying. Till next time I say, Shalom.